Foxtrot Bravo Bravo, pull up and go around.
Go around, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
The Tower India Echo Lima, downwind 13, touch and go.
India Echo Lima number 3, follow Cessna left base, turning 1 mile final.
India Echo Lima.
Foxtrot Bravo Bravo Tower, fly runway heading.
Fly runway heading, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land runway 13.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, change of plans, crossover midfield, join right downwind runway 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, crossover midfield, join the right downwind for 13.
Okay, welcome back to Sim Air Flyer. This is picking up from the last video that I did, which had to do with a visual approach into runway 25 at Charlie Zulu Bravo Bravo, Boundary Bay Airport, right in here. And that flight went very well. And what I wanted to do now, well, first of all, that flight was, if any of you haven't seen that video just before this one, it was where the approach controller asked me if I had the field in sight. And I did say that I had it in sight, and from that point on, everything went well. What I'd like to do now is run the same flight, but this time, if I'm asked that question by the controller, I will say that I'm looking for the field, and I want to see what happens when I make that reply. So again, we are looking at the Navigraph map, leaving from Boundary Bay, Charlie Alpha Mike Tree. The original route calls for the Victoria VOR, and then northeast up to the Vancouver VOR, and then into Boundary Bay. But we will be vectored all along by center and also Vancouver approach. They will be vectoring this flight, so we probably won't be doing this VOR route. So it is also set up in SimBrief. SimBrief has not changed. It is the same as it was on the previous flight. Oops, sorry about that. It's the same routing, it's the same, everything is the same. So I just want to see if this is going to work for us. So without any further ado, let's get into the airplane and load up BeyondATC. Okay, the A36 Baron is all ready to go. It's all been checked out, all the radios are set, nav radios are set. So here comes BeyondATC. Looks like there's an update. One thing I must say, hats off to the developers and all the team. This is early access, so it is subject to many bugs, but they are making many improvements and fixes daily. Usually every day there's an update, sometimes 2 updates. So we'll just wait for this to finish and restart. Okay. This is now an update that has just taken place. So let's hope it doesn't interfere with with what my plans are. We shall see.
BeyondATC connected.
Okay, and again, I repeat myself, because this is a non-towered airport. There is no ground or tower controller, so we have to rely on center to pick up our IFR clearance. And we are doing something that you wouldn't normally do. We are already on the runway, but we're just doing that for the benefit of this test. Alright. I'm going to use the clicks buttons. I could speak, which I can do that. Vancouver radar request IFR clearance.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, Vancouver radar. Expect runway 13. Climb 5,000 feet on runway centerline, then expect radar vectors Victoria VOR. Squawk 3415.
I'll use the read back here. I'll just click it.
Expect runway 13. Climb 5,000 feet on runway centerline, then expect radar vectors Victoria VOR. Squawk 3415. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey. Read that correct. Start or taxi at pilot's discretion. Hold for release. Report holding short runway 13.
I'll acknowledge that.
Start or taxi at pilot's discretion. Hold for release. Report holding short runway 13. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay, we need to. We're going to be taking off on keeping runway centerline, which is 135. We're climbing to 5,000, and we need to squawk 3415. So let's put in the squawk code right now. Okay, 3415 is entered, and let's get on our way.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, short of 13, holding for release.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, release for departure. Clearance void if not off by 215 Zulu. If not off by 215 Zulu, do not contact later than 2115 Zulu. Time now 2046 Zulu. Frequency change approved.
Acknowledge, and we'll be on
Release
our
for
way.
departure, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay, there we go. $70 knots, 75 knots, we'll rotate. Positive rate of climb, gears coming up. Autopilot is on, heading mode is set. Altitude. Okay, flaps coming in. Was too high of a bank angle. Okay, let's announce our location.
Vancouver radar, November 624 Delta Whiskey. Good day, 300 feet.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, Vancouver radar, radar contact. Continue climb to 5,000 feet.
Continue
I think
climb to
I'll turn the
5,000
auto
feet.
respawn
November
on.
624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn right, heading 145.
Turn right, heading 145. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 055.
055.
Turn left, heading 055. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Let's see what's happening on Navigraph. So we've taken off here. We're now turning to 055. On our way up to 5,000 feet. Reduce that climb angle a little bit.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, expect radar vectors runway 25. Report ready for descent.
Expect radar vectors, runway 25. Calling ready. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay, it should level off here at 5,000. I had the auto respond on, but it didn't.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 045, descend to 3,000 feet, QNH, Vancouver/Boundary Bay Airport landing runway 25.
Turn left, heading 045. Descend to 3,000 feet, QNH.
I don't know why it says QNH.
November 624 Delta Whiskey.
We are in North America.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, contact Vancouver approach 132.3.
Alright, we better do a few things here.
Vancouver approach 132.3. November 624 Delta
045,
Whiskey.
3,000 feet.
Vancouver, November 624 Delta Whiskey. 5,000 feet with information, Lima.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, Vancouver approach. Good day. Altimeter 29906, expect the visual approach runway 25.
Altimeter 29906, expect the visual approach runway 25. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 005, vectors for the approach.
Turn left, heading 005. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay, 005.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 035.
035 now.
Turn left, heading 035. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, descend to 3,100 feet.
Descend to 3,100 feet. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
3,100. Okay, that's a lot of instructions that took place there. I think that's a little bit confusing. Controller told me to turn left to 005, and then he said turn left to 035. So maybe 005 was a mistake, and he corrected himself to 035. Not sure. Anyway, we have followed the instructions, and there it is on Navigraph. We're on a heading of 035. We're going to be using runway 25 as our active runway. We'll just keep an eye out for that. And like I said, this time, if the controller asks me if I have the field in sight, I will not answer field in sight, I will answer by saying looking for field. I want to see what the controller has me do at that point. Because the first time I did that type of approach, the controller gave me information that was, I thought, was very confusing. At one point he told me to climb to 11,300 and I didn't quite understand why that was. But we shall see. So I can pause the video here until we get more action on air traffic control.
624 Delta Whiskey, descend to 2,200 feet, altimeter 29906.
So, 29906.
Descend to 2,200 feet,
2,200.
29906, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
So 2,200 is set in, and let's descend. Okay, we're getting close. Have a quick look on Navigraph. There we are. This is Point Roberts, which is part of Washington State, but it's part of the mainland of British Columbia. So we're going to go up here, and I imagine he'll then vector us north. That's probably what will happen. That's what happened the last time.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 355, descend to 1,100 feet.
355, 1,100.
Turn left, heading 355, descend to 1,100 feet, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay. 355, 1,100 feet. Alright, so now we're heading north. Going down to 1,100, which is the pattern altitude. Well, the actual elevation of the airport is only 6 feet, so it's going to blow that up a little bit.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 275.
Turn left, 275.
Turn left, heading 275, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
We'll reduce some power, reduce the airspeed. Lower the gear. Put in a notch of flaps. And
November 624 Delta Whiskey, airport is at your 10 o'clock 5 miles.
10 o'clock out there.
Above the field in sight.
Alright, so this is where I'm going to say looking for field to see what happens. Here we go.
Looking for field, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Let's see what happens now.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, I'm going to bring you around for another trot.
Okay.
Fly runway center line, maintain 1,300 feet.
So that's
Fly runway center line.
That's what I
Maintain
don't understand.
1,300 feet. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
he's taking me up to 11,300 feet. I have to fly the center line. Maybe someone can explain it to me that why am I being directed up to 11,300 feet? Back around. I can understand where the controller is taking me, but I can't understand 11,300 feet. I don't get that. We're at 8,000 now. The airport's right there. Well, it's a good day for flying anyway. And this is live weather. On May the 10th at in beautiful British Columbia. Now we should be getting another instruction, I would hope, pretty soon. I'll pause the video until we get another instruction.
Descend to 3,600 feet. Expect a further clearance in about 2 miles.
Turn left, heading 075. Descend to 3,600 feet. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
3,600, 075. Alright. $3,600. So we're gonna go down now from 9,000. This is like a roller coaster.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 070.
Turn left, heading 070. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Alright, 070 it is. Where's the airport? The airport is... let's see. That's the airport right there. Right there.
Will aircraft be advised information like now current, altimeter 29906.
29906. Okay, 29906 it is. Alright, we're at 6,500. I mean, to go up that high and then come back down to 3,600 in that short period of time doesn't make any sense to me. But what do I know? Yeah, we've came out here, Came down here. Now we're coming across here. And then we'll come back in here for another approach. This is actually Washington State right here. This is the town of Blaine, Washington. So, Blaine, Washington. All in here. Alright, we're at 3,600. Alright, we're going to level off. Alright, give us some more instructions. There's Mount Baker out here. Is 070. These islands back here are all the Pacific Northwest of Washington State. You got Friday Harbor down in there. Got all of those islands there. And we have to head back over to here. I'll just pause the video until they get back.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 360, descend to 2,900 feet.
360, 2,900.
Turn left, heading 360, descend to 2,900 feet. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
2,900.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, turn left, heading 295, descend to 1,000 feet.
295 down to
Turn
1,000.
left, heading 295, descend to 1,000 feet. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Seems like 1,000 feet seems awful low to me.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, airport is at your 10 o'clock 16 miles. Report the field in sight.
Okay, this time I'm going to say that I have the field in sight because I don't want to go through this again.
Field in sight. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
November 624 Delta Whiskey, cleared visual approach runway 25.
Cleared visual approach 25. November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Why does it...
November 624 Delta Whiskey, contact boundary bay tower 127.6.
Contact Tower 127.6, November 624 Delta Whiskey. Bye-bye. Boundary Bay Tower, November 624 Delta Whiskey, visual runway 25. November 624 Delta Whiskey, Boundary Bay Tower, wind 2154, runway 25 clear to land. Runway 25 clear to land, November 624 Delta Whiskey.
Okay. So from here on, we should be fairly good. The VOR is tuned into the correct radial to bring us to that runway. But see, I don't think we should be at 1,000 feet way out here. It just doesn't seem right. I guess I'd like the controller to sort of tell me whether that's appropriate or not. I mean, we are still 10 miles out. And when he told us to descend to 1,000 feet, we were actually 50 nautical miles southeast of the airport. However, I'm not a controller, so I just do what they tell me to do. Want to line up a little bit better with the runway. Want to get this CDI centered. Runway heading of 253 is the actual runway heading. So at this point I could switch over to nav, autopilot nav mode, but I'm not going to bother. I'll just keep the heading bug. A little bit of haze here. I actually can't see the airport, but I know it's right there ahead of me. Yeah, we're about, I'd say we're about 4 nautical miles, 3 nautical miles to the airport. Actually, no, we're less than that. Alright, let's take it off autopilot. And let's land this thing. Okay. Gears coming down. 1 notch of flaps. Power is coming back. Mixture is rich. Props are full forward. Some bird activity in the vicinity of the airport, I see. We'll put in a 2nd notch of flaps. It only has 2 notches. So from here on in, it should be just a normal procedure. See if we can land short and get that first exit ramp. 38 frames per minute, that's not bad.
November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey. Exit next available taxiway. Exit next available taxiway. November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey.
Flaps retracted. Now, this is where when I request parking to the ramp, it tells me something about there's no parking spots on my scenery, which I'm not quite sure what that's all about. So we'll just pull up here after the hold short and contact ground.
November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey. Contact ground 124.3. Ground 124.3. November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey.
Alright, let's see what choices we have. Request taxi to ramp. So let's do that again and see what happens.
November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey. Request taxi to the ramp.
November 62 for Delta Whiskey. Welcome to Vancouver/Boundary Bay Airport. No suitable gates for your aircraft exist at this airport according to your scenery data. Taxi at pilot's discretion.
Affirm. Taxi at my discretion. November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey.
Why the 62 and then a pause, 4 Delta Whiskey? November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey. Why not November 62, 4 Delta Whiskey? I know it's a small thing, but it just sounds kind of weird. Okay, that's the end of the flight. So now we know what happens if you tell the controller that you are looking for the field. They will take you around and take you up to a unreasonably high altitude and bring you back down again. Anyway, that's it for that test. We won't do any more of that one. So thank you for sticking in with me and flying Sim-Air Flyer.
Foxtrot Bravo Bravo, pull up and go around.
Go around, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
Tower India, Echo Lima, downwind 13, touch and go.
India Echo Lima number 3, follow Cessna left base, turning 1 mile final.
India Echo Lima.
Foxtrot Bravo Bravo Tower, fly runway heading.
Fly runway heading, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land runway 13.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, change of plans, cross over midfield, join right downwind runway 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, cross over midfield, join the right downwind for 13.